What is the definition of a good doctor? So, it's good to see you again, Dr. Yafi.
It's good to see you as well, Dr. Park. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
By the way, it's a great meeting. Good job with chairing all this great meeting.
I appreciate it. It's a lot of work, but I'm glad that it's worked out well, and I'm glad that we have someone like you coming all the way from Korea to be here at the meeting.
All right, so could you please introduce yourself briefly to the viewers?
So my name is Faysal Yafi.
Can you explain to us the characteristics of the city where you're practicing in?
Yeah, so I'm in Orange County, California, which is on the west coast of the U.S. between Los Angeles and San Diego. It's probably one of the most affluent, wealthiest areas in all the United States of America. Some of the areas I cater to are not as wealthy, but I have a lot of wealthy patients who are very knowledgeable, very educated. They do a lot of homework, they do a lot of research, they've seen often multiple surgeons, they get multiple opinions. So my population is not the population who comes in through the door and says, "Doctor, you tell me what I need." They often tell me what they need, and then I have to work with them to let them know what's probably a better option for them. So it makes it a little bit different than other surgeons, especially when you talk about penile implants. I'm not in this population where the patients are necessarily the easiest. But also on the flip side, it's nice because I can have very advanced discussions with the patients because they are to a certain level of education where it's usually easier for them to understand what I'm discussing with them.
Where were you born? I don't think you're from here, right?
No, I'm not. I was born in Lebanon, and then because of the civil wars, I lived in Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, France, and Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I did my undergrad and medical school in Lebanon. I did a year of surgery in Lebanon. Then war happened, so I did a year of surgery at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. Then I did 2 years of research in bladder cancer because I thought that's what I wanted to do for a living. And then I did 5 years of residency in urology at McGill University in Canada, and a 2-year fellowship in andrology and sexual medicine, prosthetic urology with Dr. Hellstrom at Tulane in New Orleans. And now in California. So a little bit all over the place.
So you speak French as well?
Yes, I speak French and Arabic. These were my native languages. Then along the road, I learned English and some Spanish.
Wow. So you speak 4 languages?
3 languages well, 1 language kind of well, but no Korean.
At what moment you decided to be a doctor?
I've always wanted to be a doctor.
Why?
Ever since I was a kid. I have no good explanation why. Ever since I was a kid, I always knew that I wanted to be a doctor. I remember going to the doctor with my parents and knowing I wanted to be a doctor. I liked the idea of taking care of people and things like that. And so I never even thought about another career. I mean, I wanted to be a professional football player, but other than that, when I realized I was not going to be a professional football player, I decided I wanted to be a doctor.
Oh, so you always wanted to be a doctor?
Yeah.
Quite contrary to me. I never wanted to be a doctor from the very beginning.
What did you want to be?
I don't know, but my mom, at certain point, she wanted me to be a pianist because my grades weren't that great when I was in the middle school. Why don't you try to piano as well? Because combining it, you might go to the good school. But my piano teacher told me that when I was in the first grade of high school, Sean, I think it will be better just to study.
Yeah. My parents tried to get me to take piano lessons.
Oh.
Very extensively. And they very quickly learned that I had 0 talent and no musical ear. So they gave up on that very early.
So you always wanted to be a doctor. That's why you went to the medical school in
Lebanon.
In Lebanon.
Yeah.
And then when did you attend your medical school there?
So I did my undergraduate in biology at the American University of Beirut from 1998 to 2001. Then my medical school from 2001 to 2005, also at the American University of Beirut. Then I went along the surgery track that we have there. So you do your first year in internship in surgery, and then you select what surgical specialty you want to do. But I only did the first year, and then I moved to the U.S.
Why?
Well, in 2006, the political situation in Lebanon was not good, and there was a war that was happening. So I felt that I had a better chance at going to the U.S. with the idea that I would go get a degree from the U.S. and come back to Lebanon. But obviously, that never happened.
So the Lebanese license is kind of same to U.S.?
Oh, no,
You
no,
admit it?
absolutely not. Completely different. So I am licensed in Lebanon just by virtue of doing my medical school there. But when I went to the U.S., I had to do all the accreditation exams to be able to go to the U.S. to do internship. And then when I was in the U.S., I was a foreign medical graduate who wanted to do urology. But as a foreign medical graduate, urology is a very, very competitive specialty.
Yeah.
So it was almost impossible to get into a urology position. So I applied for over 50 positions
50?
to become a urology resident, and I had 0 interviews. Nobody interviewed me
Why?
because they were only taking Americans. So I had a Canadian passport because we lived there when we were kids. So I decided to go to Canada and do some research there and try to get into residency in Canada because it might be potentially easier. So I did 2 years of doing research on bladder cancer and I had to do another, 10 exams for certifications for Canada and finally got into residency in Canada, which was the best thing that could have happened.
At what point you wanted to be a urologist and why?
When I was towards the end of my medical school, I rotated in surgical specialties, and I knew I wanted a surgery that was more quality of life and less emergencies. So I didn't want to be a general surgeon or a vascular surgeon or anything like that. So it was between plastic surgery and urology. I started out looking into plastic surgery, but I didn't enjoy it that much. And then I did urology. I found that everybody seemed very happy and everybody was friendly and in a good mood. I enjoyed the surgery, so that's what got me into urology.
Well, same to me.
Yeah.
Because, well, for me, the one main concern of mine was to support my family financially. So one of the most proliferous jobs in South Korea is as a doctor, as a surgeon, is orthopedic surgery, either orthopedics or ENT or plastic surgery. But all 3 of them, people were not that happy.
Yeah.
They were usually very angry and anxious. So, but urology was the same to me. People relaxed, good people, good mood. That's why I got into it.
Yeah, look, you're a happy person. You're a urologist.
So after that, all those residencies, why did you want to choose subspecialty as a men's health?
So like I said, I did research in bladder cancer, and I always thought of myself that I was going to do urology oncology and specialize in bladder cancer, prostate cancer, etc. So in 1 week, I did, I think, in 3 days, I did 4 or 5 cystectomies with neobladders, big surgeries that took 7-8 hours each, and I was exhausted. And on the 4th day, I got to work with Dr. Carrier, who's the current president of SMSNA and was an attending in my program. And we did, I think, 2 or 3 implants in a day. And then the next day, I did a couple of vasectomy reversals with Dr. Chan, who's an infertility surgeon. And I decided that day, it was a 3rd-year resident, and I decided, you know what, this is for me.
So in total, how long did it took you to become a practicing urologist in U.S.?
Very long. It took me 3 years of undergraduate school, 4 years of medical school, that's 7, 1 internship in Lebanon, that's 8, 1 internship in the U.S., that's 9, 2 years of research in Canada, that was 11, 5 years of residency, that was 16, and 2 years of 18 years. Yeah. just to be able to be a penis surgeon. It's a long road.
Long road. And the next question is, why did you choose to be academic rather than private practices?
I liked research. I liked working with residents and fellows.
You sure?
For the most part. I like students. I like helping students do research projects, helping them grow. I like that aspect of academic medicine. There are obviously advantages and disadvantages to anything you do. I'm not very entrepreneurial. I am more comfortable being salary-based and focusing my energy differently. Some people are more entrepreneurial than others and have that gift. It's not a gift that I have. I have a gift at, doing publications and research. I have 10 of my students and residents and ex-fellows are presenting at this meeting, so that makes me happy and proud. And these are the things that make me really enjoy academic medicine.
You are one of the most prolific writers, publications these days. What's the drive behind that?
So when you're a foreign medical graduate and nobody would accept you into their program, you have a chip on your shoulder. You start working harder than everybody else, and you start trying harder and never stopping. And I have an obsessive personality, so that doesn't help either. And then you decide in the beginning you're going to do some research and then slow down, but The more you do research, the more there are people who come to you with ideas for research. The more you have students who want to do research with you, the more you need to give those people research. The more they come up with ideas. And then suddenly, from what you thought you were going to be doing only this much, you have a group of 10 people who are putting together things, coming up with ideas, and then just gets more and more and more.
I guess it's because of your personality. Seems like you are drawing in, you're like a magnetic, kind of charge them in, the same personalities of yours. So like those guys who are really enthusiastic about their job, otherwise they won't be able to survive under the demanding man like you do.
I think I'm quite demanding. I learned from, Wayne Hallstrom to demand a lot. But I like to be fair. What I tell the students, I say, you can come do research with me. I'm going to make you do a lot of work, but then you're going to build up your CV and have a better chance at your applications for residency. And so that's why students come looking for me, because I put them to work and they get publications faster with me than others and more projects, and that helps them build up their CV. And it's the same with the residents and the fellows. But it's infectious.
Well, I agree, because Dr. Wilson was very infectious on me, so I'm doing the similar thing.
Exactly.
But I've been at your practice to sit in and to observe what you do, to learn from you how to do BPH treatment and how your practice goes on. It was a very, very busy practice. And you said it so nicely, but you had a hard time of 18 years. After that, you started your academic practice, which was very busy for the previous 5 years, right? So it's 23 years of the non-stopping, constant busy days. Did you ever thought to stop a moment and have a fun in your life?
So I have a lot of fun with my life. So a quote I learned from one of my ex-residents was, you always plan your next vacation when you're on vacation. So that you always have something to look forward to give you the break. But I also work very, very hard when I'm in the office, but I take zero work at home. I never work in the evenings. Never. I'm only with my wife and my kids in the evenings, and on the weekend I don't work at all. Unless obviously I'm at a conference or something, but I do zero work at home. So I am willing to work incredibly hard from 6 or 7 in the morning till 6 p.m. or 5 p.m., but then nothing goes home. So I do no work at home, and that's my strategy. Some people have, in the U.S. especially, we have electronic medical records, a lot of things, a lot of doctors have to do a lot of work from home. And my way of getting my break and my rest is by doing everything at work, and when I close the door in the office and I go home, I shut off work, and I'm just with obviously as a surgeon sometimes things will follow you, but most of the time it's just the family and my friends afterwards.
But my curiosity is that if you were a fellow, when you were a fellow, you were very busy and even bringing the work to home. And I saw you how you work like a dog, always writing a paper. But how were you able to manage to meet your wife?
So I met my wife at the dog park. So I was walking my dog. I was walking my dog, and she was walking her dog, and my dog went to talk to her dog.
Not you.
Not you, and that's how it happened. So, but again, even if you're working very hard, I think it's a misconception that if you're working very hard, you don't have time to have fun. I think it's all about being organized. I don't take breaks during the day when I'm working. I do meetings during my lunch breaks. I'm continuously working, so that when I'm not working, I have to not do anything related to work. So I think different people do it different ways. Some people are more relaxed during the day, and they take some things with them at home, and maybe they'll live longer because they have less, anxiety and stress and running around all day long compared to me. But this is the way I've been doing it, and I still am able to detach and have 2 separate lives, one at work and one with my family, and it's been working okay. And sometimes I'm here at a meeting and I have my family with me, and I take my breaks with my family. So
that's amazing. So in your free time, I guess, you are just with your family, but do you ever have your own hobby or something like that?
Yeah, I have a lot of hobbies. I run a lot. I work out. I like to play and watch football or soccer. I read. I used to read more, but I like to read. Obviously, with life, as life gets busier and you have kids, your hobbies become a little bit more related to what your kids are. But yeah, we enjoy going with my kids to the beach and to the parks and spending time with them. But I also have my own time for myself.
Do you cook?
No, I'm a terrible cook. I used to think I was a good cook when I was single, but then I got married and I realized I was a terrible cook, and I don't have to do it anymore. So yeah.